Hello, I'm Dominic Pridham, Curriculum Team Leader for Design Technology here at Ralph Allen School. I'm going to be speaking to you about A-Level Design Technology Product Design. So we run the A-Level DT Product Design OCR exam board version. So what is design? Well, for us, design is wow. Milton Glaser famously designed the I Love NY piece of iconic marketing branding, which really is a piece of wow design. Design is all around us. It's something we're very passionate about, and we know our students are too. And when we're talking design, we're talking about design in many areas. So we are talking about product design, automotive, furniture perhaps, fashion, graphic design, architecture. These are all areas where students are encouraged to look throughout their course. So what's the course all about? It's about lots of things. It's about building knowledge in a range of materials, including development, prototyping, realization, and commercial manufacture. It's about identifying market needs and opportunities for new products, initiating and developing design solutions. It's certainly about strengthening critical thinking and problem-solving skills. It's about developing and making prototypes and products that solve real-world problems. It's about making and testing prototypes and products in general. Central is the need to understand and apply the process of iterative designing, something I'll come back to. So how do we assess it? Well, there are three assessed components. The first of which is called the Iterative Design Project, which accounts for 120 marks, 45 hours is the guide, and that's the non-examined assessment, the NEA, and that's the part that effectively is a coursework project. There are also two exams. So exam 1, 27%, is called Principles of Product Design. That's a 1 hour 30 paper. And then exam 2 is called Problem Solving in Product Design, and that's a 1 hour 45 written paper. So there's two externally examined components. So the Iterative Design Project, well, this is very similar to what your son or daughter may have done at GCSE. It's the coursework project, which relies on students using the iterative design process. And this quote's really good. You can only make it once, but you can make it better as many times as you need. And this is core to the iterative design project. It's about students using the iterative process of exploring needs, finding out what people need, creating solutions, coming up with ideas essentially, and then evaluating those. How well have they met those needs before inevitably modifying, improving, iterating the design. And the project is heavily focused on how students have solved the problem through iterative design. And the great thing at A level is that students have a free rein as to where they look to identify the problem they're going to focus on. So they are not steered by the exam board to 1 or 2, 3 contexts, as may have been the case at GCSE. Students have freedom to explore anything that's of interest to them. And as a result, we have students that focus on many different areas of design. Some do look down the fashion route. Some are very much product, some look at architecture, and that all works within the iterative design project. I've got some example documents here from that project. So this is some real previous work. This student was looking at knife crime as a context and identifying problems with a view to maybe solving them around knife crime. Ultimately they didn't, but it was an interesting focus area. They ultimately looked at kayaking and canoeing and identified problems to do with visibility. And here are some examples of some analysis of existing products, some early modelling, that's core to the iterative process, and ultimately some more advanced prototyping, 3D printing, and ultimately realising, a commercially viable solution. That's the ultimate aim with this project, solving a real problem to come up with a hopefully viable solution. Now, the second component I mentioned was the Principles of Product Design exam. Now, this is the principles. It's very much like would have been taken at GCSE. It's really testing students on the core subject knowledge, and it involves materials, processes, and some other issues such as sustainability and so on. So this is the first exam paper. There is a relatively large amount of mathematics within all DT exams now, and that's certainly the case with the A level. So maths is something we do need to look at as part of this course. And there are some examples on the screen there of typically what those questions can look like in that principles exam paper. The second exam paper, now this is slightly different. This is something that students wouldn't have encountered before. It's called the problem solving exam, and it involves them reading an accompanying booklet, an insert, which gives a scenario, a situation, and students have to effectively analyse that information and answer questions relating to it. So it'll set out a bit of a scene, something happening, an event. Here it's a council-run scheme. And they're giving you some facts and figures, some data, maybe some user thoughts, some research, and you ultimately have to answer questions using that information. And again, there is the maths within that. Okay, there is maths within that component. So what do you develop doing A-level DT? Well, we actually think you develop an awful lot of skills, many of which are transferable. So it's about being open to taking risks and managing failure. It's about showing innovation and enterprise, definitely developing intellectual curiosity, something we promote throughout. It's about working collaboratively, working with others. It's about developing the capacity to think creatively, innovatively and critically. Independence and critical thinking is key. It's about developing a strong core knowledge and understanding of the subject, of course, and it's about gaining an insight into the creative engineering and manufacturing industries. So really understanding how these skills can be used moving forward. So is it for you? Well, I don't know. Is it for you? Are you inquisitive and interested in the way things work? Do you question things? Are you critical of the products you use? Are you keen to make things better? Are you creative? Are you an ideas person? Are you forward thinking, progressive? Not afraid to make mistakes and learn from them. That's really critical. Can you work in that way? And are you keen to develop a wide range of transferable life skills? If you think this sounds like you, and you've enjoyed your GCSE design technology, then yeah, maybe this is the one for you. How do we split the hours? Well, in year 12, typically we break your time up. So partly you're working on projects, where you're experimenting with processes and tools and machinery, and you're also getting used to that iterative process of working. And you're also having some theory lessons, which are specifically focused on the exam content. In year 13, when you're working heavily on your iterative design project, the coursework, NEA, then we're more flexible with the hours, but typically you will still do some theory work alongside project. Now, if you want to find out some more, we would love to talk to you. You can speak to your current GCSE DT teacher, or of course you can contact myself, d.pridham@ralphallensschool.com, or any of my colleagues, and we will happily give you any further information you require. So nothing more to say apart from we look forward to hearing from you if you wanted to know anything else. Thank you very much. Goodbye.